Have you ever wondered how waterproof can waterproof boots actually be? Well, it's been raining for like the last 5 days, so I figured I'm gonna take you with me as we go through work, and we're gonna stop and check on these boots every step of the way to see how long can they actually stay waterproof. Now, to set expectations, I am wearing a cheaper brand of boot, and that's because in my experience, the longer, better branded products, the ones that have been around forever, that are premium, don't tend to last as long. So today I'm going to take you with me and we're going to explore, do waterproof boots stay waterproof, or will water get in and actually make your feet wet? It's been raining non-stop for basically like 5 or 6 days now, and I'm getting kind of tired of it. So I wanted to take you with me and show you what is it actually like to work in the rain. These are probably the most annoying days I've had in quite a while. It beats the snow, but still not very fun to begin with. So I'm going to take you with me as I show you what is it like to be outside working all day in the rain. My least favorite thing when it comes to working in the rain is not necessarily my shirt getting wet, because you can just change that out whenever you want. The main issue I have with working in the rain is my feet getting wet, because nothing sucks more than having wet, sloppy, squishy boots the entire afternoon. So we're gonna go ahead today. Every job that we go to, before and after, we're gonna do a little bit of boot check. So let's go ahead, take a little look at our boots right now. My boots are dry, and you can see that these boots are still perfectly dry. They were soaked all day yesterday, but I have a boot dryer at the house which helped get them all cleaned up, and you can see right now they are good to go, and we are ready for our first job. The first job's not entirely too far away, so it should be a pretty easy, quick drive. Very small project that we have to do over there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive over, get everything taken care of. Now, most of this job's gonna be in the house, so we should be okay not getting super wet. Once we get to the property, we've already got our boot check. We're gonna do what we gotta do, and then we're gonna check the boots again before we move on to our second project. So time for me to drive on over there. I'm gonna take you with me, and we're gonna see what we find when we get there. Job one's all finished up. Nice, easy, quick one, and I didn't have to go outside at all, so it's really nice because my boots are still perfectly dry. Like, if we look down at them now, you see that they are still good to go. I genuinely prefer not to have to walk around in this weather because it's such a pain. But now we gotta drive off to the next one. It's about a half-hour ride. We get to sit more inside of the car. The rain's kind of stopped, so mostly it's just now like a spritz. So hopefully by the time we get to the next property, we're not dealing with any kind of downpour or drizzle like we have the last couple days. 2 for 2 finished. Unfortunately, my feet are soaked. This last one, we got about 5,000 steps on this property. It is big, but my shoes, they're waterproof, but no longer. It's not looking great. But you all want to know a little bit more about my boots, and that's where we're going to talk about what type of boots did I actually buy. Now, the boots that I have are actually the Brahma boots, the ones that come from Walmart, you know, the basic stuff. These are marketed as waterproof, and I've been buying them for years, and they actually work really well for me. Now, a lot of times I see these other boot brands being sold as waterproof and able to do XYZ, and I've bought a few of them before, but I've never truly had a very good experience with them. It's always been something where they work for a little bit and then they stop working, and it's really annoying to spend 200 bucks to have to throw them away when a $50 pair of boots works just fine. Now, I'm not shilling for this brand, but they have actually done pretty good. It's almost got 1,800 reviews, and it's only less than 50 bucks. So I've been very pleased with it. In my line of work, you have to make sure that you have a steel toe boot or some kind of safety toe shoe, because you do run the risk of something heavy falling on you, such as concrete, a concrete lid, and that definitely probably wouldn't feel too good for your feet, now would it? I used to buy other brands like Redwing, and they're like 300 bucks, and I would probably get maybe 8 months on it, and with these Brahma brand boots, I've been getting between 6 to 12 months depending on how wet it is. Now, obviously it's been super wet a lot lately, so that kind of dries out all the leather and makes them where they're not going to be as waterproof. But I've seen really good quality, so I think that 4.5 out of 5 stars, even with the 1,800 reviews, I think it might actually be pretty accurate. I try to be a little bit more pragmatic with how I live my life, and I've seen that if I buy these $50 pair of boots, even if I only get 6 to 8 months on them, I still can just throw them away, buy a new pair, and that $300 pair of Redwings lasts just as long. So in 2 years, I'll basically have bought one pair of Redwings that only makes it 8 months for me. Now, Redwings guarantees a lifetime warranty on their boots, and so I've asked a few of their representatives, like, well, why don't they actually repair my boots? And apparently it comes down to when the boots get soaked through, they lose oil. And the problem is that as it loses oil, the leather gets a little bit more brittle. And if you're not re-oiling it, you're not able to keep that boot doing what it's supposed to do, being waterproof. So over time, what happens is that boot dries out. Once it gets wet, it dries out, it gets wet, dries out, loses some of that oil, and then it starts to crack. Once the boot starts to crack, it's game over. The waterproof ability of that boot is completely shot, and it's time to throw it away and start over. Hopefully, it only separates from the sole so we can glue it back on. Otherwise, you're kind of in trouble. Now all we've got left to do is just drive on over to the third one, and hopefully that one works out pretty good. I know that with these waterproof boots, I should be able to get a little bit further than what I actually have gotten. Not a huge fan. So once we get to this next property, hopefully it'll be nice and quick, but I'm not holding my breath. I think we might be in luck. This system actually is looking pretty good. The homeowner's been taking care of it, which is always a godsend whenever they do that. Sometimes you get unlucky and you end up having to look at some really, really gnarly systems, ones that haven't been touched in decades even. I finished up that last job. It was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was super easy, super straightforward, but my boots are soaked. I mean, if you look at them, they are just completely covered in water through and through. It's been a long day so far. Overall, would I say that these waterproof boots are waterproof? To an extent. I might argue that it might be a little bit more close to a water resistant, but let's go ahead, get moving on, and get out of here. And I'm going to talk to you in a minute about what my final thoughts are. Final thoughts. I think that these boots, even though they're cheap, they are effective. In normal conditions, yes, they are waterproof through and through. We all know that I don't work in normal conditions. I'm always wet, and also especially when it's been raining all this time, those boots are just constantly going to get soaked, and they're going to get worse and worse. When you have grass that's sitting up ankle high, of course you're going to run into some problems with the water basically sticking to that grass, which then sticks to your boots. In reality, I think it's probably better just to say that these are actually going to be water resistant and not waterproof, because at a certain point they're just going to get wet. And eventually the water will work its way through. In my case, it basically work 1 6-hour day, 7-hour day, or even 8-hour day, depending on how the last couple days have gone. Every single day, that water goes straight through the boots, into my sock, and onto my feet. So the waterproof boot is not waterproof, but it's the same even for any large name brand shoe. I picked the Walmart brand because of the cost, and it does exactly what everybody else does. So even though I'm not sponsored or paid, if you're in the market for a waterproof boot, I do think the Brahma boots are really good and useful, but you do have to realize that they're not truly as waterproof as they claim they are. If you really, really need like a waterproof boot, you're basically gonna wanna look at getting something that's plastic, like a wader kind of shoe. I hope that you found our little experiment interesting. And if you did, if you found it informative, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I have videos posted every day covering the world of well and septic, home improvement, and I'm gonna show you even the tools that I use to let you know, does it work for me? Just like today, we found that waterproof boots are not waterproof. I've been saying this for years, and I figured may as well show you and have you come along with me while we kind of put it to the test. So if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, and I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.